theme is royalty. It's going to be all about kings and queens and princes and princesses, and we don't have any royalty here in the United States, which I kind of think is good, but it's still a lot of fun to pretend and read stories about. Let's get to our first story. Okay, our first story today is called Prince Ribbit, written by Jonathan Emmett and illustrated by Polly Bernatine. I like all of her red hair. Oh, look, there's a frog on a book. Excuse me. Okay. The princess and the frog prince got married and lived happily ever after, read Princess Arabella, closing the book with a satisfied sigh. Princess Lucinda frowned. That silly girl treated the frog prince so badly. She was lucky he married her. If I ever met a talking frog, I wouldn't make the same mistake, agreed Arabella. I think it's these two. Looks like they're reading The Frog Prince. Princess Martha rolled her eyes. She liked facts more than fairy tales and real frogs more than enchanted ones. She'd heard a real frog croaking in the royal pond many times, but she could never spot him. He's a clever little thing, thought Martha. Martha was right. The frog was very clever indeed. He often listened in on the sisters' stories, and the more he heard of princes and princesses, the more he longed to live like them. Look at him, dressed up with a crown on his head. The frog dreamed of sleeping in a soft bed, eating fine foods, and wearing a beautiful crown. And he'd just come up with a cunning plan to make his dreams come true. Yuck! Go away, you slimy little beast, shrieked Arabella and Lucinda as the frog hopped in front of them. But the frog did not go away. Instead, he cleared his throat and spoke. Allow me to introduce myself, said the sly frog. My name is Prince Ribbit. Arabella and Lucinda stared open-mouthed. But Martha was delighted. It's a frog, she shouted. A talking frog! She's so excited. Actually, I am an enchanted prince, he said. A jealous wizard turned me into a frog because I was so astonishingly handsome. If only there was a way to break the spell. But there is, cried Lucinda. It's in this book. You just need to be looked after by a pretty princess like me. Or a pretty princess like me, said Arabella. And then you'll turn back into your old astonishingly handsome self, and we can live happily ever after. Lucinda and Arabella took Prince Ribbit back to the palace and gave him whatever he wanted. Lucinda let him sleep on her pillow, while Arabella let him eat from her plate. But the more Prince Martha saw of the frog, the more suspicious she became. Why are you making such a fuss of him? She asked as Prince Ribbit hopped around the dinner table. Look at him. Looks pretty chaotic. The dog's lapping up all the spilled juice. She's got food in her hair. The servants are like, ooh. Because he's an enchanted prince, said Arabella, and that's how you break the spell. And she pointed to the storybook. Just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true, said Martha. And with that, she went to the royal library to look up the truth about frogs. A mother frog lays eggs, she explained to her sisters. Then the eggs turn into tadpoles, and the tadpoles turn into frogs, but frogs don't ever turn into princes. Just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true, replied her sisters. So Lucinda and Arabella continued to pamper Prince Ribbit. They let him sleep in the biggest, softest bed and gave him the finest clothing and a beautiful new crown. Martha was the only person who saw Prince Ribbit for what he really was. "You may be clever, but you're just an ordinary frog," she insisted. See, this book has pictures of frogs with different kinds of frogs with labels. And this one that looks like Prince Ribbit says, "Ordinary frog." "Just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true," said Prince Ribbit. "This is hopeless," thought Martha. "My sisters will never believe me, no matter how many books of facts I show them. But I suppose I'm just as stubborn. I've never read their storybooks. Perhaps I should." So Martha gathered a big pile of fairy tales and began to read. She was surprised to find that while the stories might not be true, they were often funny, exciting, and inspiring. And after Martha had read them all, she knew exactly what to do with Prince Ribbit. And look, I love this picture because you can see all the fairy tales, not all of them, but many of them. And there's like Hansel and Gretel, there's Peter Pan, there's Snow White, there's Little Red Riding Hood, Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio, the Three Little Pigs, all kinds of stuff. Oh, there's Aladdin. "If you're really an enchanted prince, why hasn't the spell broken yet?" Martha asked Prince Ribbit the next morning. Prince Ribbit shifted uneasily in his little golden throne and adjusted his little golden crown. "Perhaps it is because I have not been treated well enough," he suggested. "You seem very well treated to me," said Martha. "I think it's time to try something different. What's the one thing that will always break an evil spell?" "True love's kiss!" cried Arabella and Lucinda. "Me first," said Arabella, planting a big, wet smacker on Prince Ribbit's clammy cheek. "You don't love him as much as I do," said Princess Lucinda, snatching the frog from her sister and squashing his face in a passionate smooch. But no matter how many kisses they gave him, Prince Ribbit remained very much a frog. And in the end, both princesses realized that this was all he'd ever been and all he'd ever be. Look at him covered in kisses. "I suppose I should go back to my pond," sighed the frog, taking off his beautiful crown. But he looked so sad that Martha couldn't help feeling sorry for him. "Please don't go," she said. "Any animal smart enough to fool my sisters would be fun to have around. And while I might not want a handsome prince as a husband, I'd love to have a clever frog as a friend." She picked up the frog and gave him a gentle kiss. The instant Martha kissed him, a huge puff of pink smoke appeared, and the frog turned into a handsome young prince. In fact, he was so handsome that Martha decided that she did want to marry him after all. So she fell into his arms, and they both lived happily ever after. And if that's not the ending you were expecting, then remember, just because it's in a book doesn't mean it's true. The end. Oh, that's a fun one. I like how they use books to research. Okay, so now let's sing a song and do some actions with it. So everybody get on your feet. I know you at home. We're sitting down and watching, but now it's time to move a little bit. So we're going to get up and we're going to sing a song while we do actions. I am the king of running. I run and run and run. My subjects all run with me, and we have so much fun. I am the prince of turning. I turn and turn and turn. My subjects all turn with me. It's an easy thing to learn. I am the princess of dancing. I dance and dance and dance. My subjects all dance with me and dance whenever they get the chance. I am the queen of jumping. I jump and jump and jump. My subjects all jump with me and sit down with a bump. Good job, friends. That was a fun one. I like that little rhyme. Oh, okay. Let's get our second book here. All right. Our second book today is called Reading Beauty by Deborah Underwood and pictures by Meg Hunt. I like the pictures in this one. What do you see here? It looks like science fiction. It's very futuristic. I think it's set on a different planet. Once upon a planetoid, surrounded by book lovers, a princess, Lex, read morning, noon, and night beneath her covers. Look at her book cart. Wish I had one like that. That's pretty cool. Excuse me. Lex's bedroom brimmed with books. She read them at top speed. She even trained her puppy Prince to fetch her things to read. Gosh, her bedroom is so cool. But on her 15th birthday, Lex awoke. Her books were gone. Can you imagine how terrible that would be? She wanted to find her parents. Make them stop. What's going on? They answered with a story. Long ago, when you were small, we held a celebration and invited one and all. But while the guests were toasting you, we heard a muffled shout. A fairy burst in, furious that she had been left out. How could you not invite me? I must say I'm rather miffed. But wait, we did. Be quiet. Let me give your Lex a gift. Like all you wretched readers, Lex will live for reading. But when she's 15, she'll flip a page and get a paper cut. The paper cut will bring a curse. A death-like sleep will take her. She'll stay that way forever. Only true love's kiss will wake her. That's why we hid the books away, her mother said, dejected. For any book could cut you, and you need to be protected. Without its books, their world grew bleak, consumed by dark and gloom. Lex watched the shadows spreading from the windows in her room. It's all my fault, she said to Prince. I can't let things get worse. I'll fly to find the fairy. Then I'll make her break the curse. Prince's nose picked up a scent. Good dog, those books, I need them. We'll bring a bot to pack them up and hold them while I read them. She's figured a way around it, hasn't she? Lex started off with how to fly, then how to find a fairy. And stories gave her courage when the trip got rough and scary. Meanwhile, in her fairy lair, the fairy shrieked, It's Lex! She won't get me. I'll stop her with the thorny hedges hex. Look, she sees her. A wall of thorns around her home? Nice try, but she can't hide. A garden book helped Lex cook up a homemade herbicide. Do y'all know what a herbicide is? A herbicide is a mixture that will kill plants. And so that's what Reading Beauty has put on these thorns. The hedge dissolved to shriveled bits so Lex and Prince could land. The fairy said, That girl is doomed. I've something special planned. I'll tempt her with the thing she loves, a gorgeous poisoned book entitled How to Lift a Curse. She'll have to take a look. Zip, zip. A glowing book appeared. Prince sniffed. What's this? Lex said. The fairy listened through the door. No sound. She must be dead. The fairy inched near sleeping Lex to check her now, eyes closed. Now closed eyes. But Lex sprang up and grabbed her one and said, Hello, surprise! I got quite good at faking sleep when I was just a kid, so I could read past bedtime. Now, about that curse you did. She got the fairy. That curse will last forever! You will never change my mind. Then Prince nudged Lex's leg and barked. Lex looked. What did you find? What's he got? It's a piece of paper, a scroll, and it says, you are invited to a royal ball to celebrate the birth of Princess Lex. You were invited to my ball. We thought this didn't reach you. Wait, can it be that you can't read? Don't worry, I will teach you. Me read? In her excitement, the poor fairy didn't think. She touched the book. She turned ghost white and crumpled in a blink. The fairy cursed herself, cried Lex. We need to help her, quick. Prince ran up and gave the fairy's face a sloppy lick. The fairy slowly came to life. What happened? I'm not dead. Oh, Prince loves everyone, Lex shrugged. She smiled and scratched his head. So Lex came home. The books came back. The land was filled with laughter. The fairy found a job. Looks like she's putting up books. And all read happily ever after. The end. I like that one. Okay. Excuse me, guys. I still got that little cough, but I'm fine. So now for our next song, we're going to do some finger play. Put your fingers up, all 10. Excuse me, guys. Let me grab a little drink. Okay. Get your 10 fingers up. 10 lovely princesses out for a good time. One left to change her dress. Then there were 9. 9 lovely princesses waiting by a gate. One left to stroll the garden. Then there were 8. 8 lovely princesses, all in love with Kevin. One met him at the fair. And then there were 7. 7 lovely princesses with hairdos to fix. One shopped for a hat instead. And then there were 6. 6 lovely princesses in a cart to arrive. One headed to the ballroom. Then there were 5. 5 lovely princesses by the palace door. One went to the banquet hall. Then there were 4. 4 lovely princesses sitting by a tree. One climbed up a branch to sit. Then there were 3. 3 lovely princesses enjoying the view. One stopped to paint the scene. Then there were 2. 2 lovely princesses having so much fun. One had to meet the queen. Then there was 1. One lovely princess saw the setting sun. She went home to get some sleep. Then there were, how many? None! Good job, Prince. Oh, that's a lot of fun. Okay, our last book. This one I think is so cute. Our final book today is called Princess Dinosaur, written by Daniel Kibblesmith with pictures by Ashley Quatch. Look at the pictures in this one. It looks so fun. I wish I could just go into this world. Look, they're canoeing down here with a rainbow over the water. There's a swan and a castle and an upside down pink house. Why is it upside down? I don't know. But all kinds of fun things. It looks like Princess Dinosaur is painting them all. How fun. Here she is coloring on the ground. She's very creative. This is Princess Dinosaur. Look at the ray of light shining on her like, oh. Listen to the princess roar. Wait, is that how princesses go? I think so, this time. She's ferocious as can be. She also hosts a lovely tea. Look at her. She's destroying this village she made. And over here she has all these delicate treats, and she's having a lovely tea. Princess Dinosaur stalks her prey. Look at her prey over there. She's sneaking around. Princess Dinosaur does ballet. Look at her, dancing in the spotlight. First, she screams and stomps her feet. Can you stomp your feet? Stomp, stomp, stomp. Then she can be oh so sweet. Be sweet. Her table manners can be crude. Look at her. Ugh, she's on the table. Oh my gosh, that's not how we do it. She's picky about certain food. Look, she won't eat that green, slimy stuff. I really wouldn't want to eat it either. Her dino claws are razor sharp. Look at her tearing up the curtains. She uses them to play her harp. How delicate. The princess sometimes breaks the rules and goes out in her mother's jewels. Look at how she's decked out. She's got like all these pearl necklaces and a crown, all kinds of stuff. Or colors on the palace walls, or gives a haircut to her dolls. Ooh, she's busy. Or lets out her inner beast and gets time out till she's released. Look at her in the corner. She got in trouble. Her favorite color is always pink, except when it's red or blue or yellow or green or orange or purple or silver or rainbow or clear or light periwinkle with chartreuse polka dots. I mean, she changes her mind. Dinosaurs are wild and free with no responsibility. That looks lovely. Princesses are kind and warm and keep their subjects safe from harm. A princess can be a dinosaur, but they can also be much, much more, like an astronaut, soccer player, cowboy, scuba diver, movie star, veterinarian, or even President of the United States. So if you stomp your feet and roar and wear fancy dresses from the store, you might be one thing or two or more, like a princess and a dinosaur. How beautiful. The end. I love the story. That's such a fun one. Okay, friends. So, you may have noticed that I am wearing a tiara today, and that's our craft for the day. It's really simple. So what I did was I took some really shiny pipe cleaners like I have right here, and I put two together by, here's a pink and a blue, and I twisted them together like that until it went all the way around my head. And so first thing I did was make a circle that fit my head. And then I started making my spikes. And it's so simple, and this crown is so lightweight, and it's so painless that I forget I'm wearing it half the time. And I end up wearing it around the library. And then I get embarrassed because I have a tiara on my head, and I didn't even realize it. So I'm going to put all these shiny pipe cleaners out by the preschool desk. And you can come out into the library today, if you'd like, and make your own pipe cleaner tiara. Doesn't that sound fun? And I'll leave this one there so you can see how I made it. That's today's craft. I'm so thankful that you joined me today. I had a lot of fun reading stories about princes and princesses and kings and queens. And so now it's time for our goodbye song. We wave and sing goodbye. We wave and sing goodbye. With our friends it's story time. We wave and sing goodbye. We clap and sing goodbye. We clap and sing goodbye. With our friends it's story time. We clap and sing goodbye. We wink and sing goodbye. We wink and sing goodbye. With our friends it's story time. We wink and sing goodbye. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.